Hi, I'm Maria Yassin and I'm a statistician in the CSO Census Division. Today I will be presenting the findings of our Then and Now Life in Ireland in 1926 and 2022 publication. This release explores how Ireland has changed over the past century, looking at the population size, age and distribution, religion, occupations, migration patterns, and the use of the Irish language. The first census of the population in the Irish Free State was taken on the 18th of April 1926. The National Archives of Ireland manage the conservation, digitization, and publication of these records. Census 1926 records are now available online on the National Archives website, searchable and free of charge, alongside census records from 1901 and 1911. The CSO has supported the release of these historic documents and given our unique role in the Irish society. We have also published a complimentary release comparing census data from 1926 and 2022. In 1926, Ireland's population was 2.97 million, having fallen by over 5% since the 1911 census, continuing the decline that began after the Great Famine. By 2022, Ireland's population had increased by 73%, rising to just over 5 million. Looking at the population maps from 1926 and 2022, it's clear that Ireland has become far more urbanized over the past century, with many western counties now accounting for a smaller share of the national population. For example, in 1926, 17% of the population was living in Dublin, rising to 28% by 2022. Over the same period, Mayo fell from 6% to just 3%. The birth rate has halved over the past century, from 20.6 births per thousand people in 1926 to 10.5 in 2022. Life expectancy has also increased over this period. In 1926, the life expectancy was 57 years for males and 58 years for females, rising to 81 years for males and 84 years for females in 2022. The CSO have digitized tables from the original statistical publications to allow users to explore the detailed breakdowns of the population across a range of topics. This chart shows the population of Ireland by district electoral division. The boundary data from 1926 has also been digitized to help visualize Ireland as it was then. Census 1926 recorded a far more uniform religious profile, with 93% of population recorded as Roman Catholic. In 2022, the equivalent figure was 69%. In 1926, 6% of people identified with the Church of Ireland and other denominations, compared with 3% in 2022. Those identifying with other religions increased from less than 1% in 1926 to 7% in 2022. 15% of the population in 2022 identified with no religion. In 1926, 97% of the population were Irish-born, compared with 80% in 2022. Looking at those born outside Ireland, Northern Ireland, and Great Britain, the share was less than 1% in 1926 and 14% in 2022. The Irish language question in 1926 and 2022 were framed very differently. In 1926, 18% of the population were recorded as Irish speakers. This figure includes both those who spoke Irish as their sole language and those who spoke both Irish and English, meaning the count reflected the number of individuals with the ability to speak Irish rather than indicating proficiency or frequency of use. In 2022, 40% of the people reported being able to speak Irish. Based on the question asked of everyone aged 3 years and over, that captured any level of spoken ability and distinguished between daily use inside or outside education, weekly use, less frequent use, or no use despite having the ability, producing a broader measure of the engagement with the language. Agriculture dominated the labor market in 1926, making up 51% of the entire workforce. By 2022, this had fallen to almost 4%. In contrast, professional roles made up just 4% of workers in 1926, but had grown to 10% by 2022, reflecting the long-term growth of education, health, and technical occupations. I will now finish up with the infographic for our release. You can find this along with our other detailed visualizations, text, graphs, and maps available on cso.ie. County and district electoral division breakdowns are also available, as well as further information on each topic that explore the data. Any queries you may have can be emailed to census@cso.ie. Thank you.